Hi everybody, it's me, Miss Jessica lwhor, and we're back with another Jess Talk. And this time we're talking about all ages versus family-friendly versus all ages family-friendly drag events. Ooh, it's going to be a tough topic. But before we get into it, you know the drill. Subscribe to my channel, hit the bell for notifications, stream us on all platforms, and let's get into this all ages drag experience.
Attention lwhor, attention lwhor, attention lwhor, attention. Here I am walking down the street, seeing all the boys trying to take a peek. Shorts pulled up, a chest out right. Come on, boys, just take a bite. Look but don't touch, spin it round and round. Crazy.
Okay, so I want to start off by clarifying, because it seems to be really confusing to so many people that are anti-kids, anti-drag. Why do we do all ages drag events? Okay, there's so many negative perceptions as to why we actually do them, and honestly it comes down to representation matters. Okay, we are just like any other form of art, we're just like any other space, and ultimately we're trying to showcase that this exists in the world, and it may be for you, it may not be for you. But it's not to change your preferences. It's not to make you queer in any way. It's honestly to show that this is an art form that exists in the world, okay? It's not to confuse anybody or make it confusing to folks, because genuinely, all it's going to do is prompt questions earlier on that you're going to ask and you're going to find out about later on in life. And honestly, I didn't have this representation when I was a kid. I wish that I would have seen more queer people, some more drag people, because I was always destined to be queer, and I was always destined to be a trans non-binary human, and always destined to be a drag queen, and I wish that I would have had more positive examples and positive conversations from my family, my parents, role models, teachers, and more, that this was a possibility and existed in the world. It would have saved me years of trauma, and I know a lot of people that have been exposed to queer art and queer people at an early age, and it just wasn't for them, in the sense that they weren't queer. They were still straight, okay? So I really just want to put it out there that this is why we host and put on queer events for all ages, kids, and more. This is how it should be. So ultimately, all ages family-friendly drag shows, let's separate those two. An all ages family-friendly drag show should look like a G-rated Disney movie. It should be no bad language, no bad names, appropriate clothing, an appropriate environment as well. Everybody promoting love, acceptance, kindness, self-acceptance, learning to treat other people with respect. That is kind of what an all-ages show should look like. You have positive music with appropriate lyrics and more. You have then family-friendly shows, you have all-ages shows that are not family-friendly, and those are the shows that are hey, they're a little bit more PG-13. We encourage everyone to come, but I would recommend that you maybe come with an adult, okay? So you might hear a swear word every now and again. There might be a song with a curse word in it as well. Maybe this is a venue that has alcohol at it, and you're saying, hey, just so you know, this is an all ages space, but I wouldn't necessarily consider it family friendly. Do what you think is best as a parent or guardian if you have children under the age of 18 that you want to bring to these events. And then you have completely adult experiences, which are 18 or 21 plus, okay? Ultimately, we need to have these spaces. We need to have these events. We need to have these shows because, again, it brings together communities of queer youth to showcase positivity, love, acceptance, and they get to learn about themselves. They also learn that this idea of drag and queerness exists in the world. We've talked about this. It's that important. I think that we get such a bad rep because we have issues where times people mess up, okay?
We fucked up.
Maybe it's the way that an artist chooses to use their name. Maybe it's the type of clothing that they're wearing. Maybe it's the venue serving alcohol, and you're like, well, why are you bringing kids to a venue that serves alcohol? So I think it's really important to be mindful of what you're doing when creating those spaces and performing those songs. You should maybe not wear an outfit that shows off so much skin, just simply because of the way it triggers other people. I feel like with all ages family-friendly shows, we are already looked at with a microscope in this world of the things that people want to call us out for and clock us for to give them more fuel to their fire of hating drag artists being around kids, that we have to be a little bit hypersensitive to those things. I'm not saying that covering up equals sexualization, or lack of covering up equals sexualization. That's not what I'm saying whatsoever. I'm saying other people interpret it that way. And unfortunately, in this industry, you do have to kind of tone back some of the things to make sure that those people aren't triggered so that we can continue to do the good stuff that we're doing. So being mindful of how much skin you're showing. If you do a reveal, what are you revealing to? If you're wearing a breastplate, making sure that your fake breasts don't pop out of your outfit. Making sure that you're tucked properly if you're choosing to tuck. Like making sure that you're choosing songs that are appropriate and they're songs that kids can just dance and have a good time to. They're not songs that are F this and F that and fuck this person up and, violence and anger and stuff like that. Do songs that should be appropriate to be around kids. Disney music is a great example. You have so many girls just want to have fun. Who Run the World's Girls, Single Ladies even. Hey Man, I Feel Like a Woman, As Much As I Don't Like It. That's a great all ages song. Believe by Cher. There are a lot of songs that people can dance to, that everybody knows. Some of those Pride classics, are really great examples of all ages family-friendly songs. If there are performers in your cast that like to drink or like to smoke, I would recommend that they don't partake at an all ages family-friendly show.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
That they're not smoking cigarettes, they're not smoking weed, they're not drinking alcohol, that they're just staying for the time being that they're there, just 100% sober from everything. It makes things, again, not targeted towards you that you're partaking or weird. If you have all kids in the show with you, if you have minors in the show, make sure a parent is in the dressing room at all times with their kid, or there's a guardian, or sometimes never try to sit and be alone in the dressing room with another kid. Or if you have to change, make sure you go to the bathroom to change, a private area to tuck, to pad, to put on your outfits. Why? Because little things like that are things that they're looking for to clock everybody with. You may not care, the parent may not care, nobody else cares, but ultimately it's for the safety and protection of the kids in the show. When we're taking dollar bills, I think that it's important to, get on the level of the child if they're tipping a dollar bill and you say thank you. You grab a dollar bill and you're respectful of it. When you're at all ages shows and kids want to take photos, being respectful and being like, do you want to hug, and do it in front of the parent, like asking for permission for consent in photos, not putting a hand around the waist or the arm or the shoulder of a kid, but just standing next to them and getting close to the photo. Not holding their child without the permission from the parent either. A lot of those little things really do matter. Everyone's watching what you're doing and how you're doing it, especially in this age. And I don't want to give anybody any reason to
be like, well, I saw this. I'm not gonna let this drag show happen because it's ruining our kids and indoctrinating them.
When all in reality, we're just dancing and performing like if you were to go to a play, a musical, and that's it. That's it. That's it. Those are just a couple of little tips that I would recommend for sure. I've hosted many all ages events, many family-friendly events as well. I go from Jessica LaHore to Miss Jessica. I go G-rated. I talk about love, acceptance, being unapologetically and authentically yourself, thanking everybody for coming. When kids are in the show and we talk about tipping kids, I always say this is a way for kids to learn early age steps of financial responsibility. In the shows that I have where kids are getting tipped out, I usually ask them to be tipped all to a general pool. I will tip them out money evenly and then say, you're investing into your art. We're showing you what investing into something you're passionate about, you're creative about, looks like. Take this money and go buy some makeup. Take this money and go buy a new outfit. Maybe, and a lot of the parents and a lot of the kids even will donate it and be like, well, I'd like to donate this money to the charity that we're raising money for today. And that shows a sense of giving back to your community. You're investing, you're giving back to your community. So there's different ways to look at what tipping kids, queer kids and queer drag entertainers are. Queer kid drag entertainers or just queer drag entertainers as a whole. But it really showcases a lot of positive aspects that people don't know about. I can guarantee you, anybody that's on Instagram, anybody that's on Facebook just commenting and saying, they shouldn't be around our kids, they shouldn't do this, call the police, this is awful. I guarantee you they have never been to an authentic, family-friendly, all-ages drag show where they have seen the positivity in the space because they're so guarded and blinded by what they think the media has projected to let them know about drag artists, when in reality they know nothing. A lot of these kids will experience drag and realize that the next steps in their life are transitioning, and it's a really great reminder that we want you to love and accept yourself early on, and maybe this is the visualization or the moment that you needed. And there's also a lot of kids that come that never become queer whatsoever. Everyone thinks that when they leave an all-ages family-friendly drag show that their kids are going to become queer, when in reality they're just opening their eyes and realizing that this exists in the world, period. Ultimately, I think what comes down to it is you can disagree with what I'm saying right now. You are entitled to your opinion, but you are not entitled to your own facts, which is something Shirley Delta Blow says all the time. It is important to recognize that something that I do, or some service that I provide, or a space that I create for these queer youth, or just youth kids in general, may be something that you disagree with. Just as much as I may disagree with you maybe bringing your kids to church, or bringing your kids to Hooters, or bringing your kids to a sporting event, any of those things. Ultimately, you can disagree with it without having to get violent, angry, nasty, and make some of the comments that you do. Your lack of education is not an excuse for you to lash out the way that most of you are lashing out online. And ultimately, if it's something that you don't want to experience or you don't want your kids around, guess what? Don't bring your kids. Don't put your kids on the internet. I guarantee you if they have a smartphone that they've already seen it. I guarantee you that if they have access to the internet, they've already seen way more than you want them to. You make the choice for your kids. Other parents and guardians will make the choice for their kids. And you just need to leave it at that. And the artists that you think are awful groomers, pedophiles, creating unsafe spaces are actually the ones creating the most loving and accepting spaces. It's not for everyone. And that's totally fine for you to take those conversations in whatever direction you'd like to. But remember, you need to experience it first. I'm not saying every drag show is for kids, by no means. What I'm saying is the ones that are labeled as all ages and family friendly, you have to trust that they're going to be all ages and family friendly, and that it's just a positive, uplifting play performance experience that we're putting on to make kids dance, laugh, and love themselves a little bit harder. And that's my opinion on all ages family friendly shows. Performers, look out. Be hyper vigilant about what you're doing, what you're performing, how you're acting. Parents, make a choice for your kids. Yes or no, however you want it to come out, if you want to come out or not. And ultimately, have fun. Enjoy and experience what a drag show is like for an all-ages, family-friendly audience. As Miss Jessica, I fully support it. Bye!
I'm an attention whore. Can't help it, bitch. I'm an attention whore.